I got that, and now I'll do this. So, yeah, like I said earlier, my interviews are really conversational. They last about a half hour. We tangents are welcome, swearing's welcome. It's kind of podcasting is the wild, wild west of everything.
I love it.
Yeah, I spent 10 years on KUWS. It's a radio station that's affiliated with WPR and then affiliated with National Public Radio. So you, as a presenter, you couldn't interject your opinions or swear. So now I'm kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, come out of here.
Yes, hats
Yeah.
off, definitely.
It's funny though because the best interviews I find are ones that are conversational. They follow the natural progression as opposed to like I've listened to podcasts like I love gymnastics, and there was this gymnastics podcast I listened to and it was like Shannon Miller,
Yeah.
favorite gymnast 1992, amazing. And it was just so formulaic, and like somebody was reading a list of questions and then she'd answer, and I was like, oh my god, she's saying so much stuff that I want to be like, so tell me more about that, because
Right.
that's what's interesting, as opposed to just this like question and answer format.
Yeah.
Where you're getting very like the PR media trained answers and stuff where you're like, but the point of a podcast would be to go deeper than you can and say,
Exactly, and that has
Yeah.
always been my goal. So I'm glad
I
we're
love
on that
it.
same wave.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
yeah, just a couple housekeeping things. So I'll do a quick introduction.
Okay.
Do you want to be known as Erika from Ghost Baby Fitness or just Ghost Baby Fitness? How do you want to be introduced?
Erika, yeah, from Ghost Baby Fitness, and yeah,
Okay, all
sure,
right.
that's great. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I can tell you how I got to be Ghost Baby Fitness,
Yes.
which is funny.
Yes, excellent. We'll jump into that.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yes. I'm like, I will wait.
All right.
I'll
All right.
wait.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm your host, Crystal. This is another edition of the 9 o'clock Meltdown podcast. And over Instagram video, I have the very talented and wonderful Erika of Ghost Baby Fitness. Hello. How are you?
Hi, I'm so well. How are you?
Fabulous for a Sunday. Doing pretty good. Pretty good. So you're in the middle of moving, which I'm absolutely elated that you were able to take time out of moving to talk with me in the wider world about what you have going on. Seems like you've got quite a bit of things going on in your life besides uprooting and moving somewhere else. But let's kind of jump into things here. How's Erika? What's Erika doing? And then we'll go into Ghost Baby.
Well, you've caught me sanding my walls. I've hung too much art, and so if you take any of my classes, you see it in the background. So I've been taking it down. And then I don't know, what is Ghost Baby doing? Ghost Baby's taking a break from live classes, but what I've started to do is next week I'm going to offer a Zoom class that's called Ghost Baby Reruns, where whoever attends the Zoom class and myself, we pick a video from my library and we all take it together, because I don't really have the capacity space-wise or brain capacity-wise to teach a class right now, but I can take a class, and I think it'd be really funny to be like, this class is real hard, what is she thinking? So
Nice.
yeah.
I love it. And now I stumbled upon you actually on Instagram. You are a life partner of a musician that I am very fond of, and a band that I'm very fond of. But we won't get into that. This is not about them. So I actually stumbled upon you that way. And then I just thought, wow, this is a really cool cat. What else does she got going on? Not to mention that you guys own cats as well. But you also,
Yes.
you worked at a boutique up until maybe a couple days ago, and then
Yeah.
you've started posting about bar classes, BARRE, which is not something I'm familiar with at all. And I'm starting to kind of learn about it a little bit, but let's kind of, yeah, let's
Okay.
dive in first.
Okay.
So Erika, you are out in Los Angeles right now. So what's that transition like? I mean, were you in the boutique setting first, kind of just working a cashier job, or how did How did all of it come about?
Okay, so I will let me think of the best place to start. So
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I danced ballet. As I became a teenager, I started doing it pre-professionally, where I really thought that's what I was going to do with my life, be a professional ballerina. At 18, I decided that wasn't for me, and I went to college. I went to Ohio State. I decided that wasn't for me. I moved to Los Angeles because I had some friends here, and I started just working wherever I could. Like I worked at American Apparel, then I worked for a website. I worked for a couple different things. But so all this time, I would take dance classes recreationally because
Mm.
that is really like who I am at my core. I love to dance. I love music, and finding ways to still incorporate that in my life while not being a professional ballerina.
Mm.
so
Mhm.
um, so I would take random dance classes, and I never, and then of course I got to the point in my life where I was like, gosh, I really like my body doesn't feel as good as it used to. I should start working out. And I thought that I just join a gym, and I would go to the gym and stand on the elliptical for 20 minutes and go, well, this is awful, and leave. So then I started finding dance classes that I really liked that were follow along hip hop classes, and I would take those. I had um, I started doing adult gymnastics. I decided that
Oh.
I was going to maintain my fitness level, like my body feeling good by doing only things that I liked. And so I started with adult gymnastics. I started when I was 29. Like I learned to do backflips. I learned to do a round off back tuck. I learned to do stuff on the bars when I was 29 and into my 30s, which I was
Yeah.
very proud of. And that made me feel like I could expand to other things. So I would take any kind of fitness class that was possible. I took
Mhm.
aerial silks and aerial hoop. I did a synchronized swimming class for a year, and everyone was like, are you even a good swimmer? And I was like, no, I can simply not drown. And that is the basic level of like swimming I can attain. I was like, but it's not shallow, and it's fine.
Mhm.
So like, and I had like the nose clip and what is the swim cap and everything. It was so I did that,
Yeah.
and in my journey, I ended up taking a bar class, so Barre, and I didn't
Mhm.
really know what to expect. And what I found was it was movements that were very similar, very comfortable in my body. Lots of kind of ballet adjacent positions
Mm.
that, and using a ballet bar to stabilize yourself. So that felt very much more my speed than doing burpees and doing lunges. Like that was just very uncomfortable for me. I've
Mhm.
tried CrossFit so many times. Everybody tells me maybe you didn't like it now, but now you like CrossFit with me. No, I don't. Don't make me run.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hunter asked me, my boyfriend asked me if I would go running with him, and he said it's just a mile, and I cried the whole time. And he was like, "Wow, you really don't like running."
Oh no.
So, so
Mhm.
I found something that was very comfortable to me, and I began taking bar. I was taking 4 to 5 times a week. I loved it. It was a great place to go and turn my brain off and do these movements, and it made my body feel so good.
Mhm.
So I did that for a few years, and then it got to 2019, and I had a full existential crisis. I
Mhm.
was working at a desk job that I hated, and I was like, I'm not using my full brain here. I am sitting in a windowless office for 10 hours a day. There's got to be more life than this. So
Mhm.
I decided I was going to become a bar instructor myself. I decided the kind of person that I wanted to be was a person who made people's lives better in some capacity. I decided I wanted, when I interacted with people, I wanted them to leave feeling positive, feeling hopeful,
Yeah.
feeling excited about that relationship that they had just formed, whether that was um, in my bar classes. I was like, I don't care if your body feels good, maybe I make you laugh.
Mhm.
Something like that. I'm an artist, and so I do pet portraits, and I was like, I want to give people like the warmth and like, especially if you've lost an animal, being able to look at this portrait and feel like they're there with you again, give that feeling, give a
Mhm.
positive feeling. And the other thing was, so I quit that job, and I ended up getting a part-time job at this plant shop, high-end boutique, and I decided that my relationship with customers would be, I would be warm and friendly, help them pick out things for their home and give them plant care advice so that when they left that interaction, they would feel warm and cared for.
Yeah.
And I would just be the kind of person whose interactions with you would, you feel very excited.
Mm-hmm.
So during the pandemic, I had just become certified at this like boutique bar place, and it's you couldn't teach anymore. They were like, you can come to our studio and teach, and I was like, oh, absolutely not. I will teach online, end of list. I take this very seriously. And they said I couldn't teach, and so I started teaching on my own. That ended up in them trying to like sue me and tell me I couldn't do it, so I separated from the company, and I was like, well, I'm more important than your company, so I will just continue doing what I'm doing away from you.
Okay.
And I've been doing it since 2020, so it's been about 3.5 years now, and I've built my business, and along the way I've met people who think of fitness the way that I do, and it's really reshaped my relationship with fitness classes and kind of pulling the curtain back on the toxicity that exists in the way that I was taught to teach classes, and how to remove that from my vernacular, remove that from my classes, truly make my classes all ages, all levels of fitness, all body kinds and types and shapes, and make it a place where you feel included as opposed to excluded. And so I know a lot of people have not heard of Barre before, let alone taken a Barre class, because it kind of conjures up this image of an already fit, thin white woman. And like, that's how I found it. I'm an already fit, thin white woman. I have all of those privileges. And of course I dance ballet, so I was like, this is a home for me.
Right.
What I found from taking these classes and from becoming an instructor myself is that Barre is founded, it was founded by a woman who was a former dancer, and she was working with her physical therapist to heal a back injury. So Barre strengthens all of the muscles that support your back. It strengthens your core, it strengthens your quads, it strengthens your glutes. It's the original founder of it wanted to incorporate the music into it.
Okay.
Barre classes started as everyone standing in a circle and chatting throughout class. So if you go to an American Barre class, everyone will be facing forward, no one talks the whole time, the instructor has a microphone, you do whatever they tell you to do. But in these original classes, I learned they would all have a conversation the whole time. And learning that and learning to work with someone who would work with the founder of Barre really shaped how I could make it more inclusive. And working with people who don't have thin, already fit white bodies was also integral in making my classes accessible for everyone.
Right.
So that was the longest-winded answer into how did you get into this. But I feel that every step of that process kind of helped informed how I found my way into it and the kind of things that I took away from that in my journey, and what I realized that for me in my classes, in order to attain my goal of being accessible, being inclusive, making people feel seen and considered, you know, and even making my language in class, a lot of people, a lot of fitness places, hey guys, or because it's Barre, hey ladies, whatever, making it totally gender neutral, making it, you know, never referencing, you know, being thoughtful and mindful of that aspect, which is a minor change for me to make, which I say hey friends or hey fellow mortals. But even making those minor changes can really change somebody's entire perception and attitude towards that. So.
Right. Was that, hey fellow mortals, excuse me, a D&D reference there? Is that...
I can't remember where it came from. I think it was me and my friend talking about it, but I do have a friend, one of my regulars is a D&D person,
Oh, okay.
but I don't think it came from them, which is funny, because it would.
Oh, yeah.
But it's, I like it because it's it's just macabre enough.
Right.
To elicit laughter.
Yeah, no,
Set the vibe immediately that this is not a serious place.
right. And I think a lot of people take go to the gym or go to these classes as something really serious. That it's serious. You pay attention to the instructor, but da 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 da. I remember way back when Zumba was getting to be the hot, heavy top thing that you did. I took one class with a friend of mine, and told myself I would never go back. Because it was on a whim, and I don't have the nice matching outfit and the workout, whatever. I don't have that. So I showed up and I laugh about it now in bright neon blue sweatpants, a green tank top of some sort, and then I pulled my hair back with a bandana. And thinking about it, thinking about it, I must have looked pretty ridiculous because I stepped out of the locker room and some girls, I'm gonna call them girls because we were young back then, but God, now I made myself feel old, but they actually started giggling at me because what I was wearing. And I whatever at this point, but
still, at the time, experiencing that it's such a, you feel, really the term is, othered. You feel not accepted. And there's a way, as a person who lived my life wearing neon blue sweatpants, I always look different. Because this is a podcast, you can't see me, maybe you haven't taken my class, but I have full sleeve tattoos, I have white hair, I have really worked hard to make myself look not like anybody else you've ever seen, because that's who I am as a person, and that's who I've always been as a person. Even when I was in college at Ohio State, which is the very same thing. Everybody's just wearing an Ohio State hoodie and jeans and sneakers. My dad said to me, my dad was a professor at Ohio State. And my dad told me one day, he said, I saw this girl walking across campus. She was wearing, it was the dead of winter. She was wearing a mini skirt, thigh-high striped socks, platform Mary Janes, and a bright red pea coat, jauntily skipping along to whatever music was in her headphones. And he went, look at that! Wow, I would, what a strange person, but how wonderful. She's so happy. And he goes, oh my God, that's my daughter. So, he was like, what an outfit. I would never be able to pull that off for her. And oh my God, I know her. I named her. That's my kid.
That's awesome.
So going back to what you were saying, I have definitely had that exact same experience, and I've had that experience multiple times in my life. I mean, even in high school, that was my experience. But you don't know. Sometimes when you're younger, you don't know enough. You're not confident enough in yourself to know exactly what's happening, but you feel weird. The most memorable one was actually a bar class that I took. I visited my family in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Specifically, this part of Columbus that is a suburb, and it is a very, not to sound like, disparaging, but it's just very same. The houses are very similar. All these developments built at the same time, and everybody kind of dresses the same. And so I was there on vacation. I went to go take this bar class. I entered the room. So everybody's kind of wearing the same black leggings, the same shirt that has some quip about 1 o'clock somewhere or whatever, and brown hair pulled into a tight ponytail, and everybody kind of looks the same. In walks me, and I remember very specifically, I am wearing heather gray leggings, a neon green crop top. I have all my tattoos are full on display, and I have my white hair pulled up into two very frizzy, unkempt buns, space buns on top of my head. And I kind of walked in, and I was like, I feel uncomfortable here, and I'm a confident person in who I am and how I look, and I choose to present myself this way. And I just felt very much like it wasn't like people were judging me, but it was the idea that these are not my people.
Mm.
This is not where I belong.
Mm-hmm.
And there are places that I've been where I feel like, yes, I feel accepted. I feel these are my weirdos. And this was not that place. And so that was something that I kind of like, I recognized it at the time because I remember telling my friends, like, I gotta get out of this place. I gotta go home. I gotta go back to LA. I feel good here. And
there you go.
it was in the middle of my full mental breakdown where I was like, who am I? What do I want? Do I want to move back to my family? Hard pass, no. What do I want to do? And
Yeah.
so fast forward to being an instructor, a common thing that you see on Instagram is the way a lot of fitness instructors present themselves as the matching leggings with the matching crop top, and the very, like, it's just a very, in a clean background, like they're in a studio, whatever. And I kind of realized early on that the way that I present myself is going to be the same as how my classes are, which are welcoming and not the same as everybody else, and just like very like, I'm one of you. I'm also working out at home. So why would I not do my classes in my living room always?
Right.
I'm also working out at home, so I'm going to wear whatever leggings are clean. I'm going to wear whatever cropped band shirt that I have, which I've got Celine Dion, Rick James. And I've got, Tina Turner shirts. And so random skateboard companies. But like these big oversized shirts that I cut up and still wear my glasses because I can't see without them.
Yeah.
And I'm just not the kind of person to wear like to fit into that, what Instagram wants to present, what society looks at as someone who is a fitness instructor. And for me, I decided, I'm actually working with a program right now that's like a marketing company, and when I was explaining my kind of flight, my elevator pitch to my mentor, I said, I want to be Richard Simmons. And she was like, that's you. That's your vibe. If no one else looks like or acts like Richard Simmons.
Right.
So I want to be Ghost Baby, which is no one else looks like me. I've had people try to copy my style of teaching.
Oh,
and
really?
I look at it, I'm like, yeah, they'll try to make it, they'll try to do what I do, or they'll try to like, I love your playlist, so I'm going to make one, but like in this way that's not their take on it, they're just copying me, but they can't, I realize they can't be me. I'm me. I'm the product. That's why people come to my classes, and I'm like, they'll find their own thing. It doesn't, it used to really piss me off, but now I'm like, they'll find their own thing. They're still navigating, they're finding out what works for them. But no one can be me. No one knows the weird Steely Dan facts that they present in, like that I present in class. Like that's specific to me.
Mm-hmm.
No one else. You'll find, like, they'll find their own thing. I'm confident in what I do, and
Yeah.
I know that I now have like the grace to know. You know what? They'll try, but they can't be me, and so they'll find their own thing. Maybe starting with what I do is something that will help them on their journey. So,
right.
But yes, I've had people try to see. Oh, I like what she's doing. I'm going to do it too. And I'm like, oh, but you can't.
Oh, Erika, that's a fabulous story. I love it. I love it. So now you had mentioned that you do pet portraits. Now, did you go to school for art, or was that something that you were always doing, was just kind of drawing growing up?
I was always drawing growing up, and I loved it. I was just telling somebody earlier that my parents' house had many of my various like childhood artworks on the walls and stuff. And I would always take art, art classes and stuff. But I never very seriously. But then when I quit ballet, when I was the second half of my senior year, when I was 18 years old, and I was like, well, I guess I won't be joining a ballet company or going down that route. My parents were like, well, then you have to go to college. And I was like, I don't want to. And they were like, well, you have to. And at the time, I had to. It was kind of this, like, I was really cornered by them. And they were like, because my dad was a professor at Ohio State, they were like, it's free, we will pay for you to live in the dorms. This is a generous offer, you better fucking take it. And I was like, And so I went, and they were like, pick a major, and I was like, art. So, so I had to take all these art classes. College was such a nightmare for me. I did horrible in everything except for art and French. And at one point, I tried to do a study abroad program. I went to the foreign languages office, and they were like, you got a D in math. And I'm like, oh, because I didn't go. I know math. And they go, okay, well, here grades matter. And you have to do well in things that you don't like in order to get to do the things that you do like. And I was like, well, your system seems flawed. So I did do, how long was I there? Let's see. Like people would be like, oh, my junior year. And I'm like, I don't know. I was there for 3 years, but nothing really took. I never got into the art major program because I never applied, which is its own stupid story that we won't get into because it's not relevant. But I did take art classes. I did do some of the classes that really helped me were figure drawing and life drawing, and then just classes learning on perspective and learning. The thing that I find helped me was learning to train your brain to draw what you see and not what you think you see. Because your brain naturally, if you look at an eyeball, your brain takes that, looks at it and goes, I know what an eyeball looks like. And then when you draw it, it goes, I know what an eyeball looks like. It's very cartoon character shape. When you actually look at it, there's all these different, the ways that the eyelashes grow, the way that your eyeball sits inside your eye, the way that your iris is only like, it's rounded at the top, but part of your iris is cut off at the bottom. There's a way that you see that it actually is that you have to train your brain to zoom out and focus on these granular details and see it. So that was the thing that I actually learned in college that I'm like, okay, that was helpful. But again, I didn't do that professionally. I've always had, different creative endeavors my whole life. And in 2014, I was at Best Buy. And there was an iPad open, and it had this app on it where you could draw. And I was like, and a little stylus, and I was like, I was like, okay, I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to teach myself how to draw on this. Teach myself. I'm going to draw every day, and eventually I'm going to figure out something, and then that will pay for the iPad. Like I was just like, okay, I'm going to treat myself to this, but I'm going to use it for art, and I'm going to sell that. And you're going to pay for it. Yeah. And I started drawing every day. And which was weird because like I didn't consciously think I need to sit down and I need to draw for this hour. I was just so motivated that I did draw every day. And then I started doing weird like portraits that were kind of cartoony. I started drawing kind of like I did like family portraits for a while that were very cartoony, and then I tried to do like watercolor stuff. But then in 2018, I was always drawing my little dog Lula. She would always be my reference for trying let's try this style. And I did one in black and white that was just with this little pencil brush. And I was like, oh, I like that. And it was very, I had to look very hard at what I was actually drawing, not what my brain thought, this is what a dog looks like. So I started doing them, and I posted I did some for friends for free, and then I posted them on my Instagram, and I was like, hey, I'm doing these portraits now, they cost much, message me, send me a picture, let's do it. And I started doing them, and I am still doing them, which is crazy that it's, what is it? I mean, it's been 5 and some years. But it's fun to look back at the first ones I did and how I do now, and be like, wow, I really got better. And people are like, oh, you're so talented. I'm like, that's not talent. There is something to say that I am a creative person and I am motivated. I see the way that my brain works is already set up to be predisposed to be good at creative things, the way that I see color, the way that I experience life in general.
Right.
But the drawing itself is not a talent. The drawing itself, I've drawn every day for 10 years in this specific style with this specific medium. I've put in hours and hours of work. It's just doing it. And it's the same with teaching. People say, oh, you're so talented. And I'm like, girl, if you knew how much I cried
when
when
I
I
was
was
learning
how to
teach.
teach.
You would
You would
not
not
consider
consider
that
that talent.
Yeah.
you
You
know?
know,
Mhm.
It's
it's
such
such
a
a
fucking
fucking
rub
rub
and
and
such
such
a
a
burn
burn
to
to
like
like
all
all
the
the
ways
ways
that I
that I
want
want
to
to
do
do
stuff in
stuff
my
in my
life.
life.
I'm
Like
very
I'm
like,
very
if
like,
I'm
if
not
I'm
good
not
at
good at
something
something
from the
from the
get-go,
get-go,
I'm not
I'm
gonna
not
do
gonna do
it.
it.
Oh,
And
And
then
then
like,
like,
now
now
I'm
I'm
older and
older and
going,
going,
like I
like I
turned
turned
40 this
40
year
this
and I'm
year, and
like,
I'm like,
oh
oh
man,
man,
you
you
gotta
gotta
work
work
hard to be
hard to be
good at
good at
stuff.
stuff.
What a
What a
nightmare.
nightmare.
That
That
like,
like,
oh,
Mhm.
oh,
it
it
is
is
what they
what they
tell
tell
you.
you.
What a
Right.
What a
disappointment.
disappointment.
Yeah, and you know, Erica, to that point, I heard a quote one time that there's no such thing as talent. There's just tons of practice. Practice
Yeah,
makes
Yeah,
talent.
it
it
does.
does.
And that is so true. It's so true. Like I cannot tell you how many times, especially when I was younger, like just to put it into relative, I'll be 35
Yeah,
in
Yeah,
2 weeks.
yeah.
yeah.
An
An
elder
elder
millennial
millennial
Right,
like
right.
myself.
Yes, exactly. I think we're getting along very well. Like I've got
Yeah.
tattoo sleeves and all
Yeah.
that jazz. I'm a skinny fit white woman too, so high
Yeah.
five through the screen. But uh, to kind of get to that point, it's it's so true. And throughout growing up, you know, you'd hear all the time the word talent, whether it was in, you know, a magazine or on TV or, you know, whatever it was. And that almost kind of makes you feel it talentless. Like if you're not good at something right away.
Yes,
Yes,
you just
you
like
just like
took
took
my
my
breath
breath
away.
away.
Like
Like
I
I
did
did
a
a
little
little
gasp.
gasp.
Like,
Like,
oh,
oh,
I
I
relate
relate
to
to
that.
that.
And
Mhm.
when
And
you're
when you're
not
not
good at
good at
something
something
immediately,
immediately,
you're
you're
like,
like,
oh,
oh,
I'm
I'm
not
not
talented.
talented.
You know,
Right.
it's
It's
not
not
Yeah.
that.
that.
No, it's not. And it, you know, knowing what I know now, you know, there's that other phrase that you wish you could teach your younger self, but that's not what life is about. Life is about those experiences and kind of gaining that knowledge and moving yourself forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, practice makes talent. Talent isn't something that you're born with. It doesn't
Yeah.
exist. Like, I mean, yeah, can somebody maybe get up and sing and hit like a G4 or 5? Totally. Like totally that happens all the time, but not when you really want to put in the effort for something.
Yeah.
Like I
Yes.
myself, I am confident in my interview skills and my podcasting, but I've been doing it for 13 years. You know,
Yes,
Yes,
I
I
like
was
was
just
just
gonna
gonna
say
say from what you had told me
before,
before.
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
you're a
you're a
great
great
interviewer,
interviewer,
you're
you're
a
a great
great podcaster,
podcast, you speak so
eloquently,
eloquently,
and
and
that's
that's
not
not
because
because
you
you
are
are
just
just
born
born
good
good
at
at
it.
it.
You
You
worked at
worked
it,
at
you
it, you
honed it,
honed it,
you
you
worked for
worked for
things
things
like
like
your
your
experience is
experience is
similar
similar
to
to
mine, where
mine,
you
where you
worked
worked
in
in
something that was
something that was
very
very
limiting in
limiting
what
in
you
what you
could
could
do,
do,
and
and
no
no
swearing, and
swearing, and
having to,
having to,
work a
a
certain
certain
way.
way.
And
yeah.
I
And I
find
find
even
even
having
having
those
those
experiences is
experiences
so
is so
important
important
because
because
you are
you are
able to
able to
refine
refine
your
your
skills
skills
in
in
a
a
certain
certain
narrow
narrow
viewpoint, in
viewpoint,
a
in a
certain
certain
kind of
kind of
box.
box.
And then
And then
once you
once you
leave
leave
that,
that,
you
you
have
have
those
those
heart,
heart,
like
like
finely
finely
tuned
tuned
skills.
skills.
You've
You've
practiced
practiced
those
those
for
for
so
so
long.
long.
Once you
Once you
leave that,
leave
you
that,
go,
you
oh
go,
my
oh
God,
my
it's
God,
a
it's
breath
a
of
breath
fresh
of
air.
fresh air.
You can
You
really
can really
focus
focus
on
on
what you
what
Right.
do
you
want
do
to
want to
do,
do,
but you
but
have
you
the
have the
foundational
foundational
skills
skills
there.
there.
So
So
learning
learning
within
within
those
those
parameters
parameters
ends
ends
up
up
being
being
helpful,
helpful,
though
though
soul
soul
crushing.
crushing.
It
It
can
can
it
it
can be
can
more
be more
helpful.
helpful.
The
You know, the
Mhm.
first
first
place that
place that
the
the
place where
place
I
where I
learned to
learned to
teach
teach
bar
bar
was for a
was for a
company that
company
had
that
a
had a
really good
really good
training
training
program.
program.
I had
I had
really
really
great
great
instructors that
instructors that
helped
helped
me,
me,
but they
but
were
they were
so
so
specific in
specific
what
in
their
what their
brand
brand
was
was
that
that
you
you
couldn't
couldn't
say
say the word
grab.
grab.
You couldn't
You
say
couldn't say
grab a
grab a
mat.
mat.
They were
They
like,
were
no,
like,
no,
no,
no.
no, no.
That's too
Too
violent. We
violent. We
say
say
take a
take a
mat.
mat.
So my
So my
friends
friends
and
and
I
I
would
would
joke,
joke,
extend your
extend your
fingers,
fingers,
gently pull them
pull them
together
together
as you
as you
coerce
coerce
the
the
mat
mat
to
to
you
you
and
and
head to
head
your
to your
bar.
bar.
It was
It was
so
so
weird.
weird.
And
And there was things like that. And I had an instructor say to me,
when
when she was training me,
don't
don't
reference
reference
the
the
music.
music.
People
People
don't
don't
come
come
for
for
the
the
music.
music.
People
People
come
come
to
to
work
work
out.
out.
So
So
don't
don't
talk
talk
about
about
that.
that.
Only
Only
talk
talk
about the
about the
workout.
workout. You're
You're
making
making
too many
jokes.
jokes.
And
And
was
I
like,
was like, in my
I
brain,
was
I
like,
was like,
okay,
okay,
as
as
soon
soon
as
as
you're
you're
not
not
here,
here,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
keep
keep
fucking
fucking
doing
doing
it.
it.
I
I
don't
don't
give
give
a
a
fuck.
fuck.
But
But
that
that
was
was
to
to
her
her
what
what
the
the
brand
brand
was,
was,
and it
and
was
it
her
was her
studio.
studio.
So,
So, you know,
I
I
had
had
to
to
kind of
kind of
like,
like,
at
at
that
that
point,
point,
I
I
had
had
to
to
smile
smile
and
and
nod
nod
and
and
say
say
sure.
sure.
And
And
then
then
and fast forward to when I was actually teaching, she was very disappointed to find out that my Sunday classes had become the blasting the disco playlist louder than you're supposed to in the studio. And I had a room of 25 people, which is the max for a class, going like listening to Staying Alive, or no, it was the Bee Gees, You Should Be Dancing, and then being like, just try to get as low as you possibly can, just like John Travolta in his little white suit on that light up floor, and like bouncing around the room, which was all like not cohesive with their brand. Everyone loved it, but they were like, this is like she took the disco playlist off the iPod and was like, you can't use it, and I was like, okay, so this is not for me. But I had to learn to teach within those parameters, and it did help me learn how to instruct confidently and authoritatively, and how to just the flow of class. Help me learn the foundational elements, so that once I was free of that, sometimes I will intentionally say grab, because I'm like, oh wait, I can. Just a little fuck you to them.
Oh, yeah.
My classes are a lot about you took one, and a lot of them are about referencing the music and about making the music a big part of it. You know, one of my I just posted on my Instagram before this. My class with the playlist with songs from musicals is available, and I had everybody doing biceps and arms like this to guest on from Beauty and the Beast. It's like I just try to incorporate it in a way that is like it's on the nose, and it's silly and it's funny, and you can get strong while not taking yourself seriously, you know. And then if you're like, fuck, I need to stop, you put them down, but you're still enjoying class because there's jokes, the music is good, and you can rejoin when you want. So that's like to bring it back to bar, working within those parameters can really help expand your creativity, because having it limited for so long kind of builds up this itch within you, and then you get to unleash that.
Right. And, something that you had said as well, and something that I've experienced, I worked in radio for 10 years, and, like you had said, you can't swear, you can't really express your opinion over the air, but within that, I learned to hone those skills of, okay, what are we actually talking about here? Where is this tangent welcome, and where do I need to keep people on track? Within that, you learn to be creative in that confined kind of space. And now, both you and I mean, I'm on a podcast, it's the Wild West, all hats are off. I can say fuck if I want to, and no one's gonna care, which is awesome. And I am so glad to hear that, you went through that rigmarole, and I'm sorry to hear that it was toxic and kind of damning almost. It sounds like
a lot out of me.
Yeah.
It took a lot out of me, but that's like, but it helped me. It helped me in the long run be a better instructor and find my people and find what I did want to do. And it really did mess with me. When I get into a bad negative headspace, I still have dreams that those people are giving me notes that I've showed up to teach one of their classes, and I don't have a microphone, and they're mad at me and stuff. Like, that's how my anxiety brain works. Which is like, oh, that sucks. But now it's the thing where I've had like times through Keeler, and I've had enough time from that where I'm able to look back at it and say, I had a great training, and unfortunately, I'm sad that I had that experience. I'm sad that I went through that, but in the end, I wouldn't have got where I am now without it. And that's not to say I'm thankful for it, because I don't think anybody should ever be thankful for any kind of emotional or psychological abuse or a toxic workplace. I don't think you should be thankful for that.
Yeah.
But you can acknowledge that time of hardship in your life helped inform the person you are now, helped inform your perception of yourself, your relationships with other people, where you say, I'm not going to be that to somebody else. I'm not going to allow that. It allows you to see those red flags in the future, and allows you to grow. And
I mean, again, if I could go through that all again and not have that happen, I would absolutely choose that to not happen. I don't ever wish that upon anybody, and I don't. It's important to me to acknowledge, like, everything happens for a reason. That's not who I am. I don't believe that. I don't believe you should be thankful for it.
Oh,
But that did inform how, for me, how to create an inclusive environment as opposed to an exclusive environment. So amongst other things, that was a big one. And especially, like, to extrapolate on that, like I just said, like, oh, my free class for the month. Because that's a way that I've found to be inclusive, is it costs me nothing to let people take a class of mine. And I also am a person who I have so much anxiety, especially if I'm taking a new class. I can't tell you how much I will Google and look at YouTube videos and try to find out what this class is like. And so I want to appeal to people like me who want to know what it's all about. And I will tell people, just watch a class. You don't have to take it. Pull it up and just watch it. See what it's about. See what the moves are. See if you like my personality. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're someone who thrives in an environment where everybody is dressed the same. You're just counting the beats. You're just some people. That is what they need. That is what they crave. That is great. That's not me. And so if you want that, you can. There's other people you can go to. You know,
right.
You want to be more serious. But if you want to be more loose, if you want to be more fun, if you want to see what the movements are, see the kind of teacher that I am. Here's a free. I have three free classes on the front page of my site, and then I offer them. Once a month they'll be like, oh, fuck it, this class is going to be free. And make a private page, and I'll send it to you. You can take it if you want. And that finding that way to be inclusive, not even for your physical health, for your mental health, to let somebody know this is what you can expect in a class of mine. Without having to blindly sign up and go in and hope you like it. And I don't ever want anybody to have the experience you had where you're like, I will never go. Like come and then have to fight your way through it and feel upset the whole time. And I go, I will never go back. I don't want somebody to have that.
Yeah.
I want somebody to be able to watch it and go, great, I'm in. Take it again. Or nice try not for me, and then not have to go through that experience of something that doesn't feel good in their body, whatever. And of course I want to be inclusive to everybody, but there are people that it's like, you know what, you might hate me, that's okay. There's other people for you, and I accept that. I can't like everybody.
Exactly. I mean, there's billions of people in the world. Not everybody can get along.
Yeah. It's totally you can be the juiciest peach, and there's always going to be someone who doesn't like peaches. It's fine.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Erika, something that you had said a little earlier, if some people really thrive in that kind of rigid standard environment, and that's totally fine. I mean, I know I kind of feel we're kindred spirits here. I had a desk job for many years, reception and this and that and the other thing, and I don't necessarily thrive at desk jobs. Can I do it? Yes, totally. You got to pay the bills. That's just how America works. But would I rather be moving around and kind of keeping up with things? Totally. And some people really thrive with desk jobs, and that's great. That's awesome. But yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. That's not where I thrive either. But to get into the format of your classes, I took one of your classes here a couple months ago.
Yeah, you did?
I did, yes.
Was it a music class? I can't remember.
I can't remember offhand.
Okay.
But what I wanted to say about it was, right off the bat, you're very welcoming. You're like, hey, here's what we're gonna do. If this is too difficult for you, you can, lighten it or do X, Y, and Z. It's very, very welcoming. Very, you're very inclusive with your language and things like that, which is kind of refreshing.
I've worked really, really, really hard to make little minor adjustments and these little they add up to something that's really impactful, especially for people who, like you have mentioned, have felt not comfortable in other fitness classes. Even the way that so when I was learning to teach, I had learned to say,
if this is too difficult, you can come on down to your elbows, or you can do this.
But what I retrained myself to say was set up the movement,
and then
say,
if you want less intensity, you can do this, or if you want more intensity, you can do this. And more often than not, now I start with the lowest intensity thing, and I get you moving. And I say, if you would like more intensity, here's an adjustment that you can make.
If you want even more intensity, you can kind of build on it. And I always make sure to say, if you've tried something and you've gone too far and you're like, Erika, this is not sustainable, go back to what you were doing before. And I try to offer all these avenues, and I'm still trying to know things like be able to provide these alternatives and lower intensity and higher intensity things. And also acknowledge that it's often your body that is a neutral thing that informs what will be the appropriate intensity for you. Maybe one of my friends is like, I do not like to do any exercise whatsoever on my knees. And I'm like, great. That lets me know I need to provide alternatives for that. And I will start an exercise standing. And I will say, if you want more intensity, if it is within your whims, your desires, your abilities, come down onto your knees, and we can make this exercise work both ways. And there's some things like where Again, acknowledging my privilege as a thin white woman who likes ballet already, and these movements feel comfortable in my body. Not everybody who takes my classes like that. And so I offer different ways. Like I will flat out say, this might not be possible for your body. And I will always make sure to show things that I'm like, this is hard for me. I can't lift my leg in this position, but maybe you can. But the reason that I can't is because of my body proportions, because I have a short torso and long legs. So lifting my legs are so fucking heavy that my body physically can't do it. And that sets me up to be predisposed to be succeed at this exercise and find it really easy, or find it incredibly difficult and need to make variations or modifications to it. And so everybody is going to experience that throughout class. Everybody is going to, and it can be day to day, it can be hour to hour, it can be class to class, it can be exercise to exercise. Where you get to experiment. The more you take class, the more you get to experiment and find what you get to be in touch with your body. You get to create that mind and body connection. You get to learn, I have a longer torso, so when I lift my leg, I can whack my leg up there, and it's still barely challenging my quads, so I'm going to add intensity this way. Whereas Erika's sitting on the floor and cannot lift her giant, heavy, muscular ass leg because she has no torso and no ab strength whatsoever to accommodate that. So trying to make the experience as body neutral as possible, saying this is just a fact. It's not positive or negative. It is completely neutral. This is the way your body is shaped. You cannot control that. So let's work with it. Let's get to know ourselves, and let's be able to make informed decisions on when to do something that is less intense and appropriate for you, and when to say be able to challenge yourself and say, this exercise works for me and my body. I'm finding a lot of joy in it. I know fucking hard as shit, and here's how I can add intensity. So that is my again a long-winded answer or a long-winded tangent into the thought that I have put into making things accessible and teaching in a comfortable way, and again a body neutral way. Body positivity often has now flipped over into being a different kind of toxic. not as toxic as talking about torching calories and if you can't do this, if you can't do regular exercise. It's all those negative things. There's a medium in there where I want to create an environment where it is neutral and accepting. Because you can't love your it is not an attainable goal to love your body every second of every day. And to get to a place where you accept it and you
and
can
you
live
can
in
live in
it
it
and
and
feel
feel
comfortable
comfortable
and
and
move
move
in
in
it
it
and
and
feel,
feel
okay
okay
as
as
a
a
way
way
more
more
attainable
attainable
goal.
goal.
Right,
And
And
right.
and
and
there's
there's
going
going
to
to
be
be
like
like
anything,
anything.
there's
There's
going
going
to
to
be
be
peaks
peaks
and
and
valleys
valleys
and
and
stuff.
stuff.
And
And
I
I
just
just
want
want
to
to
create
create
an
an
environment
environment
where
where
it's
it's
like,
like,
okay,
okay, you got to
you got to
know
know
the parameters
again, the
again the
parameters
parameters
in
in
which
which
you're
you're
working.
working.
What
What
how
how the
proportions
proportions
of
of
your
your
body
body
affect
affect
how you
how
might
you
be able
might
to
be able
move
to
in a
move in a
certain
certain
exercise
exercise
and then
and
make the
then make
most
the
of
most
that.
of that.
Just like
Just like we were
talking
talking
about
about
Right,
earlier.
right, exactly.
Bringing it all back.
Yeah, yeah. And, something that I've learned in the last few years is the word limitation. And, it was always seen as kind of a negative connotation, but more recently it's come not in a negative light at all. It's just a fact. I I have a limitation of how loud I can yell because I've got a small diaphragm. That's a limitation
well,
of
that's
mine.
the
That's the
opposite
opposite
of
of me.
I
I have a limit on how quiet I can talk. Everyone's like, you're the loudest person I've ever met.
Oh, it's because you're used to teaching classes and getting 25 people to do what you want.
No.
Oh, this is
well
well
before
before
that.
In fact,
In my bar training class,
there were
many people
who
who
had
had
smaller
diaphragms,
and
and
the
the
teacher
teacher
would
would
say,
say,
you
you
need
need
to
to project
project more.
more.
And they would
be like, look,
Erica's
Erica's really good
at
at that,
but that's
not because she's
better
better
than
than
you.
you.
It's
It's because
she just has a
naturally loud
speaking
speaking
voice.
voice. And then they said
she
she
already
already
has
has a lot of
vocal
vocal
stamina.
stamina.
And I was like,
what?
I
I
was
was
raised
raised
in
in
the
the
house.
house.
I
I had
had three
siblings.
And if you
And
didn't
you
say
didn't
what
say
you
what you
had
had
to
to say
quickly
quickly
and
and loudly,
you didn't
you
get
didn't
heard.
get heard.
And for
For
someone
someone
like
like
me
me
who's
who's
a
a
performer
performer
and
and
needs
needs
constant
constant
attention,
attention,
I learned
I learned
very
very
young
young
to
to
yell
yell
all
all
the
the
time,
time,
which
which
now
now is
a total
a total
nightmare
nightmare
for
for
everyone
everyone
who
who
knows
knows
me,
me,
but
but
I
I
have
have
to
to
work
work
very
very
hard
hard
to
to
be
be
quiet.
quiet.
So
So
the
the
opposite
opposite
experience
experience
too.
too. So
Please
please
continue
continue
in
in
what you were saying about
Yeah,
limitations.
no, that's fine. No, but the word limitation has now kind of taken on a more neutral stance rather than a negative stance. When I was growing up, oh, that's just a limitation. It was kind of seen as a negative thing, but now it's moved to a more neutral thing, something that you can't control. And then you learn to work within your own limitations, which I think is kind of cool in a way, just to kind of see how things have changed throughout time and kind of how we're moving in a more positive light with language and things like that. It's very interesting. But Erica, let's jump back into Ghost Baby Fitness. Now I love the name. It really kind of strikes a chord, and your logo is absolutely adorable. It's your hair, but you're on a peach. Let's dive in.
So
Ghost
Baby
Baby
came around. My
my
personal
personal
Instagram,
Instagram,
I've
I've
been
been
on
on
Instagram
Instagram
since the day
since
you
the
could
day
be
you
on
could be on
Instagram,
Instagram,
and
and
I
I
have
have a bunch of followers,
and
I
I
wanted
in
in
that
that summer
of
of strife that I
from
experienced
having
from
my
having
own
my own
TV.
TV.
I
I wanted
wanted
a private Instagram where I could just
shit
shit
post
post
as I
as much as I
wanted,
wanted,
and
and
I had
I had a
meme
meme
profile,
profile,
and then I had
this
private
private
where I
profile where I
would
would
just
just
shit
shit
post
post
because
because I was like,
I
I
just
just
don't
don't
want
want.
I
I
want
want
to
to
be
be
able
able
to
to
post
post
a
a
selfie
selfie
and
and
not
not
have
have
it
it
be
be
like
like
the male
the
gaze
male
of all
gaze
these
of all
fucking
these fucking
assholes
assholes
telling me
telling me
whatever. Like I
whatever.
want to
Like
post
I
it
want
for
to
my
post it for
friends.
my
Like I
friends.
want to
Like
post
I
a
want to
hot
post a
selfie,
hot
but like
selfie,
just
but
for
like
my
just for
friends.
my friends and stuff.
And so I had
So I
two
had these two
profiles. One
profiles,
was
and one was
internet ghost
Internet
because I was
Ghost,
like,
because I was like,
I've been on
I've
the
been on
internet
the internet
forever,
forever,
and I've seen
and
it
I've seen it
all,
all,
and commented
and
on
commented
nothing.
on nothing.
And then
And then I was
my
like,
other
my
profile
other
was Ghost
profile was
Baby.
Ghost Baby.
So
So
during
during
the
the
pandemic,
pandemic,
when
when
the bar studio wouldn't let me teach,
I
I
said,
said, can
can
I
I
teach
teach
by
by
myself?
myself?
And
And
at
at
first
first
they
they
did
did
agree, and
agree, and
they
they
said,
said,
you can
you can
teach
teach
privately for
privately
your
for
friends
your
and
friends and
family. And I
family.
was
And I
like,
was like,
gotcha.
gotcha.
So then I just
So then I
started
just started
advertising
advertising my private Instagram,
Ghost Baby.
Ghost Baby.
And
And
I
I
would
would
go
go
on
on
Instagram
Instagram
like
like
every
every
day
day
at
at
11 and
11
be like,
and
this
be
is
like,
class
this is class
today.
today.
And
And
I would approve
anybody who wanted to follow me, and I got up to like 600 followers.
something
Something crazy in a short period of time because of the pandemic. And everybody was like, I'll do anything. And like people were on Instagram lives and people were watching them and stuff, which was crazy. Like
this is
this period of time where the internet was like finally like
I'm
a very online person and I always have been, and I was like, oh, my time to shine. And so people would take my Ghost Baby class, and I realized
one of my
friends one day messaged me,
and she
screen capped a text from her friend that said,
Ghost Baby had the Titanic theme song on her playlist today, LOL.
Great. And I realized
I didn't know
that person. And I hadn't ever said my name.
I had just come on and said, hey everybody, let's do class. And that people knew me as Ghost Baby. So the bar company made me shut down my Instagram, and I was like, fine. Got everybody's email address, and continued to teach on Zoom. When I was teaching on Zoom, my friend take a class every day, and one day she emailed me, and she was like, you didn't ask me to do this, but I made you a logo. And Chloe Rice, who I love dearly, she's a great friend of mine. We've done a lot of projects together. She does one of her mediums is little construction paper cutouts and stuff. And she made a little construction paper Ghost Baby. And so I would always use the peach emoji because a lot of bars centered on Blooper, which we all know is the ass peach emoji. And I thought that was really cute and funny. And that was my logo on there was just the peach emoji. And so she took the peach emoji and then she made my face with my sprout of white hair, my little white bun piled on top of my head. And I loved it. She made me all these little infographics and stuff, and she was like, I'm bored as shit, I'm not working right now. And they were great, and she was like, I want to help you. And so when I would send out my email before class with the Zoom link, I had all her logos in there. It was a little thing like she had even written like, "Hi, I'm Ghost Baby, and here's what my classes are like, and here's what you need for them." And it was just like the cutest cool thing. And I was like, "Do you mind if I continue?" She was like, "I would be honored." And so I still have those graphics, and I use the Ghost Baby logo, which is like the little peach because we're gonna hurt your buns and my face because like I have white hair now and I'll go back to having my natural hair. Well, I probably will. We can never say never. We're always growing and changing.
Right,
But
exactly.
for the foreseeable future, I'm all about this big white like dark brown white afro, white lady afro that I have. And
I use it all the time, and then I'll change it up like I did one year. I was like, I wanted have a birthday party, but during COVID, I don't know how. And Hunter goes, love to teach your bar class. Why don't you throw a party? And I was like, so he made me a playlist that was fitness 1993, the year that I was born. And I put a little party hat on my logo. You know, or for my Christmas class, I put a little Santa hat on. And then I taught an all Prince dance party class, and I made a Prince logo. You know, Prince was the guy in front of the butt, the peach, as it were. And so I love to make it like that. But that little logo came from Chloe. And Ghost Baby came from just a private Instagram name that I created and ended up I was like, oh, nobody knows my name, and then I was like, I'm Ghost Baby. And I also like it was a thing that I've always loved to do where I'm like, you know what, nobody's gonna forget that. Like when I was in college, I've already said my age and the year I was born, but in order to like properly date myself, when I was in college, AOL Instant Messenger was the thing. Like texting wasn't a thing, and so if you met somebody at a party and you wanted to be friends, you would exchange instant messenger names. And so when I was at Ohio State, you know. So when I was at Ohio State, I made a new screen name, and my screen name was Squirrel Spank, and everyone was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "You won't forget it." It worked.
Right?
So similar to Ghost Baby, like what the fuck is Ghost Baby Fitness? And I'm like, you won't forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Like who cares about Erika Peterson? Like who cares? Whatever. There's nothing of us out there. But there's only one Ghost Baby.
There you go. It sets you apart.
Yeah.
I like
This is
it.
another way that I'm like, this is who I am.
It's
Gonna get weird.
Mm-hmm. But it's a fun weird though. And that's what makes
It's
it
an inclusive weird.
yeah, that's what makes it very entertaining.
Thank you.
And Erica, to that point, that kind of sounds similar with how I came up, or got, rather, the 9 o'clock meltdown.
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, I was in college, and before I became operations manager of the small little radio station that I worked at, I hosted a nightly show, and the show started at 9 p.m. And at the time, I was in a video class, so I went to school for videography. So basically, I can make movies.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
love a multi-talented, interested in everything. Just get your little paws on everything. See what shakes out.
Exactly, that's kind of what I've always done, too. So,
Same.
yep. So
You.
I was in a class, and my classmate Jake was with me because for the life of me, I could not hatch out what I wanted this plot of this 10-minute film I was supposed to make. And it was getting down to the wire, and I still hadn't flushed it out in my mind. Like, it was just, I was hung up on it. And we're sitting at the radio station. I can still picture it to this day. I'm sitting in this big, old, orange chair in wheels, and I've got this ancient set up in front of me, and it's got the dials and all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm familiar. I remember that.
Yep.
I've done that.
Right. And 9 o'clock is about to roll around, and I'm like, Jake, I don't know what to do. You know, I'm like in the middle of kind of a panic.
Having a meltdown.
Yeah, and Jake's like, yeah, and Jake's like, don't have a meltdown now. I'm like, but Jake, it's 9 o'clock and I have to be on air right now. And 9 o'clock meltdown was born.
Meltdown. I love that. It just,
I've had a hard time. I've had, like we discussed, I tried to keep my kind of like, how to bar. I tried to keep that kind of linear in the best way possible, even though it's very linear. But I am a person who tried everything. I sold saxophones. I've been a cheesemonger. I'm in pastry school. I've worked in fat manufacturing. I have been a plant expert at that boutique. You know, I've done a lot of different things, and I've done craft stitching. I've had all these different businesses. Like I made t-shirts. I've created my own business and stuff. And coming up with the name is the worst fucking part. And
Yes.
and it especially like here's how I feel that we're kind of the same. Like I let's armchair diagnose. Would you consider yourself to be in the realm of like neurodivergence? Maybe ADD, something like that.
Oh yeah. So So in the neurodivergence, now I didn't get diagnosed with my neurodivergency until 2021. So I've gone my whole life just, this is me.
You've gone your whole life.
Yeah.
Going. Is there something the matter with me?
Right.
You know that there's not.
Because
you're
following your passions and you're doing what feels
good to you, which is
everything all at once.
And
hyper-focus and
I love this right now, and then
trying
different stuff.
But
other people's perception of that. Like I when I was I was breaking up with my ex. He trying to really gouge and make me feel bad for it. Said, you know what disappointed me about you is you never. Yeah, he goes. You never found your thing and stuck with it. And I was like, I don't have one thing. I am a multifaceted, multi-talented, very interesting person who has lived many lives and will continue to do so. And I thought about that, and I was like, you don't get me. And that kind of like, it was a big light bulb moment. And there's like, there's certain things that people will say to you in your life.
it's a little light bulb moment, and they just it's a thing that they say in passing, and maybe they don't even remember it. But often it comes from a therapist, or often it's a dig from an ex or something, or a boss, and it's something where it's always for me. It's the moments where you realize somebody doesn't get you, and then somebody does. It's those two very polarizing things that like end up kind of shaping you and helping you discover you and knowing. And so this was, I was telling someone the other day, like I was in 2018. I keep referencing this like huge mental breakdown I had. Like, let me tell you, it was like literally a summer of tears, and I was like, who am I? What the fuck is happening? I was ending a relationship. Not only we had been together for 13 years, but we had known each other for 17 or 18 years. It was a really long time. So it was like a big thing where I was like, what's happening? And I was like, who am I?
Yeah.
And a lot of self-discovery, hating my job. And as one of my friends described it, she was like, of all of your various cups in life, your relationship, your job, your hobbies, your family, all of your cups are empty, and you have nothing. You're very depleted. How can you pour from an empty cup? And I was like, whoa. So during that mental breakdown is when this was like, I kind of had all these realizations, and that was when a therapist said to me, I was like, I keep looking at all these job listings online, and every time I look at them, I read the descriptions and I start to cry, and I'm like, I don't want this job, I don't like this, I don't want to do this. And she goes, because you're not supposed to have that kind of job. She goes, you're the job. And I was like, through tears, what? You're the job. You are a magnetic person. You are a creative person. You are interested in all these things. You have such passion. You're not a person that can sit and go to work and do the same thing every day. The job is you. You create what you want, and the right people will come to you. And I was just like, my little mind just blew open. And I was like, I'm the job. I kept repeating that to myself, and I was like, I'm the job. And I kind of was able to look back. And then this was also like, the point I was trying to make was I was working with, at that point, a life coach, a therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist. Like all of my friends were on speed dial, and I would call them crying. Like this was really like I could not have gotten through this period of life without my friends.
Yeah.
But this was like I said to my psychiatrist who had prescribed me, like, thank God Lexapro, to be like, hey, you won't have these intrusive thoughts where you want to try to drive in traffic every day. And I was like, oh, thank God. One thing we can kind of focus. And I said I would like to be evaluated for ADD or ADHD. Like, I know that I have these traits, and I know that's how my brain works. And he was like, oh, well, we just don't want people abusing drugs. And I was like, motherfucker. First of all, this guy was like in his 20s when I was like, my child. I would call him my child psychiatrist. And I was like, child. I don't want drugs. I want to know how my brain works and why I can't have a fucking job. Why I'm not happy living in this way that has become the entire norm, and that if you don't live in this 9-to-5 world where you're part of the you're nodding so seriously right now. You're not part of this like the cog in the machine. Why life is rigged against you, and then learn how to channel that and make it a superpower, as opposed to feeling like there's something the matter with you. Because again, once you get to a certain point in your life, I'm like, this is how I am, and I refuse to be stuck down anymore. I want to be who I am, because I know there's not anything wrong. I know there's not anything wrong with you or anybody else who is neurodivergent in any way, who's on this spectrum of having, ADD, ADHD, autism, any of these kinds of ways where your brain just doesn't work like other people's. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. In fact, you can harness that and make your world so tailored to you. But it is so fucking difficult that often it stuffs people down where they just feel, well, I guess I just have to live this way, and there's something the matter with me. And able to have that mental fortitude to persevere and make your life what you want it to be, and in a way that you feel satisfied and happy and creative and able to make these adjustments and turns where you need to is so fucking hard. and like this
mental
mental
breakdown
breakdown
occurred
occurred
for me
4 years ago, and I still feel like I am on this journey of tailoring my life to be able to be what I want it to be,
and
I'm fucking 40 years old, which is not old.
But in
terms of having lived a life
and
the difference of how I felt when I was 20,
I'm like,
oh,
I feel
wise enough to
know that I don't know
fucking anything.
And that
being able to
think that
way is so freeing.
And
yes.
not in a way where I'm a dumb baby and I don't know anything. It's
way where I've lived enough life to know I don't know what the fuck is next.
And I don't care.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited to know
that the way that my brain works is so far removed from how I was raised to, how my exes have never found one thing and stuck to it. How my family, who they've all known what they wanted to do and traveled that path. You know, teachers and educators and scientists, and then there's me like out here going, this week I make dried flower arrangements. This week I do CrossFit. You know,
yep.
learning that that's okay.
Right.
Can be
so freeing.
And so that's
again part of why I decided the kind of person that I want to be in life. The overarching
theme is that I want to be a person that sees people for who they are, makes a personal connection, and makes them feel seen.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're the kind of person who shows up at a workout class and you're like, I want to be serious, I want to wear my matching outfit, I need this kind of stability and regimen and routine, or whether you're the kind of person in your neon sweatpants is like, hey guys, I'm fucking here. You know, letting everybody know that how you are, you're predisposed to be a certain way, and if that's how you feel comfortable, I want people to feel comfortable in their own skin.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that even for me, a person who, like I mentioned, my dad saw me skipping across the Ohio State campus in my thigh-high socks with giant red Mary Tyler Moore peacoat. I'm pretty confident in who I am, but even realizing how long it took to even get from that person to the person that I am now took so much work.
Yeah.
You know? And how life seems rigged against you.
Mm-hmm.
And how to work against that and with your own intuition. You know? And persevere in the face of wow, this shit sucks, and doing your taxes as a person who is a freelancer fucking blows.
Oh,
but
I
will simply keep going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Erika, you don't have to tell me twice. I did taxes as a freelancer for probably about 5 years.
Yeah.
I just want to,
I'm like,
every day I'm doing my taxes, I'm like, I just want to walk into the ocean and end it all.
But I guess
I'll sit on TurboTax while crying and figure it out.
Exactly. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You've done it this long. Exactly. And I think to kind of further your point that you were making, I don't think it's necessarily us going against the grain and going against society. I think it's us finding our flow within ourselves. Because I know for me, you can only speak to your personal experiences. I know for me, it wasn't me trying to go against the grain of everybody else. It was me going against the grain of myself. And not having that understanding or those life lessons that needed to happen for me to understand, oh, my brain is wired this way, you're gonna see maroon, but I'm gonna see chartreuse, or, whatever it is. So I think definitely as the older that we've both gotten, it's finding those connections and finding your flow within yourself and then navigating it in the world that's around us. And,
one of my very good friends, when I met her, she was straight up like, I have ADHD, girl, it is bad. And I was like, that's great, I see you. Let's figure out how to make it work. And she said that the nicest thing, she always felt bad, because when you have that, it's acquired, what is you, and it's kind of not understanding. She said that when she met her now fiance, that he was like,
but baby, that's your superpower. And she was like, no one had ever said that to me before. And it made me feel so powerful and so like, yes. And so when we worked together, and now we're like, very good friends outside of that. But I would be like, let's use our superpowers together, and figure out how to make things great for us, that works for us, that keep us productive, that makes we work in the plant boutique together, works for the business, but use it as a superpower and not a setback. So that was like, and again, that's just living life and living in your lived experiences and getting to know day to day how your brain works, how tricking yourself. Like I saw this great TikTok that was like, if the world was tailored for people who are neurodivergent, it was like the concept of it was like a dishwashing app where you could like time yourself and rank yourself, and it was like this guy doing all the dishes really fast. Because tricking yourself into competition was like, and then how am I gonna do this? It was like very neurodivergent, like, yeah, make it a contest, make it competitive, and then I'll do it. But if it's just left to me, it's gonna sit there on that forever. So, but learning the way that you work, and learning the things that motivate me, learning what I where my superpowers lie, and then also learning when something doesn't work for me, and how to ask for help, how to hire help, how to say, how to use other people's superpowers to increase my own, and kind of it's I don't know. It's just learning about getting to learn about how our brains work, and getting to know ourselves better is a truly beautiful experience. And again, the more you learn that you know nothing. The more you know, the less you know. And being open to all these experiences and learning and knowing that things will change, and being able to accept that fluidity and keeping yourself open as a person instead of closing off away. This is how it is. This is how I am. That's that way forever.
Yeah.
The true value is in letting yourself continue to learn. I'm never gonna say I'm done. I'm the bar instructor that I am. I'm done. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly seeing. I'll see a seminar and go, oh, I want to do I want to do that. Oh, I want to work with this teacher and learn how they teach. I want to continue growing. The more that I know, the more I can give. And it. Anyway, I feel like that's about all things.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And now to kind of get back into the bar side of things. So I took one of your classes, and I had never taken bar before. And your class has a really good pace to it, and you've got fun music, and you make it fun. Now, something that I always found kind of interesting, or at least I found interesting with your class, was in your class you kind of do bouncing, like when you're stretching and things like that. And now, growing up, I was taught that you never bounce when you stretch. Is that something kind of unique to bar, or is that something kind of unique to how Ghost Baby teaches?
So there's different kinds of stretching. There's different kind of exercises you can do. And so the way I always start class is the way that I learned to start class from the original creator of Barre, which is where you stand with your feet hip width apart and parallel, reach up to the ceiling, take a deep breath and bend your knees, swing your arms forward, bounce at the bottom, and come back to the top. With that kind of like bouncing, and that's warming up your body. That's getting your joints moving, your deep breaths, you're sending oxygen throughout your body to fuel you for the next 45 minutes to an hour of class. And then so midway through class, we'll do a stretch where say you put your foot on the bar or on the floor, and you can bend and extend your working leg on the bar to get a deeper stretch in your hamstring, or your supporting leg, try to get it a little bit deeper. And the reason that that you do that is midway through class. You want to keep your muscles warm. You want to keep yourself lubricated. You want to do a more a moving stretch where you're still in the movement. You're keeping those joints lubricated and letting them know we're not done yet, and you're still circulating that oxygen. At the very end of class, you will often sit on the floor or lay on the floor. The bar is gone. You're done with class, and that's when you do your static stretching. You're allowing your muscles to cool down. So you'll extend your leg out, and you're just holding it there. There's no more bouncing. There's no bending to the side anymore and like kind of reaching farther. You're just using your breath to get deep breath in through your nose, and then if you exhale, try to pull deeper into that stretch. And that's your static stretch. You're letting your muscles know we're done. We're gonna cool down. We're gonna get a big stretch so that you're not all bunched up and sore the next day. You'll be sore for sure, but you're gonna be more lengthened. Your muscles are. There's not that built up lactic acid. Holding you so tight. You get a nice stretch, a release. So there are two different kinds of stretching. One is more mobile. It's in the middle of class. You're continuing to move, and then at the end of class you do a static stretch. The signifier to cool down, let your heart rate cool down. Let your breathing stabilize and stuff. So
Yeah.
There's two different kinds of stretching.
Perfect.
So that was a fun thing that I got to learn.
Yeah, sounds really interesting. And then something that you had posted about was you are now certified in the London method. Now, like I said at the beginning, this bar is a whole new realm to me. What is the London method, and how does it differ? I mean, is there... Okay. Did you get to go to London?
Not yet. So most people, if you're familiar with Barre at all, Barre is American bar classes are again that's kind of conjures up that image earlier, like already fit, white women just already in a room doing their very regimented with a bar as a support. And that is different than how it started. So the London method. I have a friend, Kelly, and in 2015 she was a bar teacher, and she thought, I want to find out how this started. She ended up finding the creator of Barre, the inventor of Barre. She's the one I talked about earlier. She was a dancer who was working with a physical therapist in order to heal her back injury. Kelly found out Lottie Birth. She found out her daughter, Esther Fairfax, lived just outside of London in Hungerford, in a tiny cottage in a little village just outside of London. Kelly was like, I'm going to talk to this woman. She met her online, traveled to go meet her to Hungerford. She created this relationship with Esther, who had been trained by her mother Lottie in the original method. And so you can't call it the Lottie Birth method. Somebody bought Lottie Birth's name. You can't call it that. There's all these people that kind of stepped in and copyright whatever. There's all these copyright. So Kelly was like, all right. Based on what Esther Fairfax, Lottie's daughter, is teaching me, I'm gonna go back to the roots and we call it the original. And it's the London method. It started in London in the 60s. And Lottie would teach these classes. Her first studio was in the basement of this tiny little studio in London. And it was hot and sweaty, and there'd be like celebrities in there, people off the street, and it would be full of laughter. And Lottie loved to make sexual jokes and that's why we do a lot of pelvic floor. Because strengthening your pelvic floor actually helps strengthen your abs, which helps strengthen your keep your back. All these different things are related. So Lottie's saying everything is related to sex, and she's making these off-color jokes, and she's laughing, and everybody's talking through class. So when Esther was trained in that, Esther kind of took it to her own studio, and Esther loves animals. So a lot of the moves, there's like a porpoise, and there's one called elephant. There's one called a lot of her moves are animal based. So she made it her own thing. And so Kelly took it to America and was like, this is the London method, the way that it was taught in London when it started. And of course, let recollect
my thoughts here.
So
when I was teaching
online,
after my bar studio said you can't sit with us anymore if you're going to go the way you're going to go, and I said fine. But I wanted to be certified in something else.
So I did the
certification through an online bar thing, International Ballet Bar of America, whatever.
And the instructor that I met
that certified
said,
me,
you know what
you would really love?
You would love
the London
method.
And I was like,
I know the
London method.
I know Kelly.
I've known Kelly since 2006.
I watched Kelly live blog about going to London and meeting Esther Fairfax.
I'll hit her up.
So I took a class
over Zoom with
Kelly.
Kelly.
We stayed on Zoom for 2 hours after talking about our experience in the fitness industry and how much she told me firsthand how much she loved Esther. And she invited me to become a teacher. And I was like,
okay.
So I got to learn from them
how the original
how
Lottie Burke originally
taught classes, the atmosphere that she created.
So not only these exercises that had been done since the 60s
and how they had
changed when they were brought to America. The whole thing about when Barre was brought to America, when Lottie Burke's technique was brought to America,
it was then
Americanized.
It was made to be formulaic.
It was made to be
they wanted to make it accessible to everyone by virtue of making it
like an American fitness class, which was
regimented.
Everybody was very forward. The instructor had the microphone. They do that in the 70s.
And also, they added exercises that were familiar to Americans. They added planks. Planks were added to bar classes by a man. And I'm like, so we don't do planks anymore.
That's not
taking my class.
There's other ways.
And it's funny because I did then take an American bar class recently, and I could hold the plank for so much longer because I wasn't doing them. Because my abs have become so much stronger from doing the London method ab exercises because they were so much more effective with your transverse abs. Anyway, so I started working with Kelly, and then we have this relationship where technically I'm the music director for them, where I make her playlists all the time,
fun.
and I send them all over their other teachers, and she asked me in to do a musicality seminar to actually teach some of the instructors who don't have a dance background, who aren't, they don't know their style yet, to teach them how to find their own style, how to incorporate the music, and I did a 2-hour seminar on how to find what kind of music you like, maybe you like to teach classical music. Esther Fairfax loves classical music. Maybe like me, like to teach to 80s and 90s. Maybe you like musicals. Maybe you like new metal, and you're like, my class is gonna be all fucking corn. Maybe that's your
whatever you're passionate about
is going to come through, and that energy is transferable.
So even if somebody comes to your class and they don't like Limp Bizkit, they don't like corn, they don't like working out your REM cycle, but you're passionate about it, and you're excited about it. That makes them like, I see what you love about this, and I love it too. And then they get excited, and that energy is transferable.
So
that was like in addition to the exercises.
That is why the London method appealed to me. And
the other thing was that the London method, when you're certified in it, what Kelly wants to do, she's like, then you take it
and you go out
into the world.
You don't have to pay
me any royalties.
You don't have to
you take it out into the world, and you make it your thing, and you spread that energy,
and then other people
get to know about it. The whole point is
inclusivity
as opposed to exclusivity. When I was teaching for the bar studio, that was like, you can't teach our method anywhere but for us. You can't give these notes.
And Kelly and the London Method's whole outlook is keeping it enjoyable, giving it to everybody, giving away free classes. Come join us. Come find out why this is so good.
Moving your body,
feeling
good, and being able to
maintain your level of fitness and mobility,
so that you can continue to do things like get on the floor and play with your kids. You can go to the grocery store
and
all
lift
those
all those bags of groceries at once because you refuse to make two trips to your car. You can, you can live your life how you can get on your hands and knees and pot that plant and then pick it up and lift it heavy and put it over there. You can climb a ladder and your balance is so good that you can reach over and stand for the walls without worrying about falling because you've done all these things to preserve your health. It's not about
maintaining your
fitness to have six-pack abs. Like, that's an
goal, and for
goal,
who?
and for who? For what?
You know? What are you, a Sports Illustrated model? Which then that begs the question of why are we still advertising that as the ideal? Or the ideal. Anyway, I could go into this for fucking hours. But you know what I mean? Like using it as a way to navigate through life. Like, a thing that she told me that I absolutely loved was they do so much pelvic floor in the London method, and it's such an integral part of your body's overall healthiness, that for women and for men, everybody who has a pelvic floor, which is all bodies everywhere. But she was like, the women that had taken my boss and then gotten pregnant have really easy labor and delivery because their pelvic floor is so alarmingly strong. And it was like, I will sign up for that as a person who wants to have kids someday. I'm like, let's get that shitty part over with. So things like that are like helping fitness part of your life, and not like a necessary part because you want to look a certain way. Do you know what I mean? Helping. This tangent has gone for so many ways, but it's like an enjoyable workout that helps maintain your body's flexibility and mobility as you age. Do you know who every time I've taught master classes of the London method, do you know who's there? Kelly's mom, who's in her late 70s, is like my number one client, and I'm like, that's what and she's like, I love your classes because I know I'm doing them because I want to play with my grandkids. I want to go for a swim with my teenage grandsons. And I I'm staying mobile for that. I'm not trying to stay mobile because I want to look a certain way because I want to weigh a certain amount. It's because I want to maintain my mobility and be able to live life to the fullest as I age.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice.
So,
and the phrase is, as soon as you stop moving, everything else kind of quits moving too. So my 94-year-old gran goes for walks every day. She's had 2 hip replacements and is still spry as ever.
Hunter's dad turned 81 last year. He got hip replacement. He goes running all the time. He's like, I gotta keep moving. My grandmother, she's 94 now, but would hike up mountains daily. Like, she lives in Tucson, and she'd go. She called herself Empowered Grandma Jean. She would go for hikes, and she was 90 years old, dragging that canoe out to the lake. Come on, Erika, jump in. And I'm like, yeah, with you. But learning to do that, but in a way that isn't full of toxicity like generations before us. Learning to keep it, especially since people are living longer. And there was that study that came out, that an article passed around that was signs that you're signs that death is imminent for you or something. It was like, you can't bend over anymore, or you can't get up from the floor. It was like those things mean your lifespan has been shortened. I'm doing this article a disservice, making it sound really morbid. But it was like maybe more ways to ensure that your body is functioning as it should for a longer life. Include being able to get up from the floor from seating, and being able to bend down and tie your shoe or something like that. Maybe that's a better way to frame it than your signs you'll die soon.
Oh, jeez, yeah. Well, Erika, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy Sunday. I know you're in the middle of moving, so thank you so much for taking time to talk to me and the wider world. I definitely feel a kinship here, so hopefully we can keep that going.
And thanks for inviting me. This has been really fun. I like how you're like, I'm gonna go for about a half hour, and we're an hour in, and I'm like, which Pandora's box do you want to open now?
Right. Well, we can do it again. How about that?
Yeah, I love it.
All right.
I love it.
Perfect. Well, Erika of Ghost Baby Fitness, thank you so much, and good luck with moving. Good luck with everything, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, and it was lovely to meet you, and we'll stay in touch for sure. Because again, I see you, I get you.
All right, perfect. Have a wonderful day.
Bye. Thank you.